Hello, welcome back to a chapter a day. Happy Thursday. My. And we moving on through the week. Yes, we are. And yesterday we read chapter 21 of Second Chronicles, where Jehoram, Jehoshaphat's son, took over from him. But unfortunately, uh, he was not good. Jehoshaphat tried walking with God. He did walk with God for the most part. He made some silly mistakes too, hanging out with wicked kings. But his son Jehoram was straight up bad. He killed all his brethren. Yep, he killed all his brethren, all the sons of Jehoshaphat. Married Ahab's wife, and you know how Ahab and his wife Jezebel were. So you know their offspring aren't going to be too much better than that, or different, I should say, because they were not good. He was evil in the sight of God, and mm, God struck him with repercussions for his evil ways. So you had the Edomites coming against him, and other nations coming against him, and eventually he got sick. In his stomach, they said his bowels fell out of him because of his sickness. He also caused Jerusalem and Israel to go against God. So, most likely, he introduced idolatry into the nations, and God stirred up his enemies against him. The Philistines came out against him, the Arabians, the Ethiopians, and in the end, he died of his sickness. They said his bowels fell out by reason of his sickness. Oh, mercy. And in the end, that was it. So they buried him or burned him. I think they buried him, but not in the sepulchre of kings. Apparently, he was not very well received or very well liked. That's terrible. But again, I would say when a man's ways pleases the Lord, it makes all the difference about how things work out in your life. So let's see what happens in chapter 22. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem made Ahaziah, his youngest son, king in his stead. For the band of men that came with the Arabians to the camp had slain all the eldest. So Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, reigned. So after Jehoram died of his sickness, his son Ahaziah took over, and apparently he was the only son who remained because all the others were killed. Verse 2. 42 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri. He also walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, not good. For his mother was his counselor to do wickedly. See, at 42 years old, you're still listening to your mother? My goodness. Wherefore he did evil in the sight of the Lord, like the house of Ahab, for they were his counselors after the death of his father, to his destruction. He walked also after their counsel, and went with Jehoram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, to war against Hazael, king of Syria, at Ramoth Gilead, and the Syrians smote Joram. Mercy. Okay. So, let me see if I can clear up what's going on here so far. So we have Ahaziah, who was Jehoram's youngest son, taking over the reign, doing as wickedly as his father and as his grandmother, because, let me see. Well, it says here, he did evil in the sight of the Lord, just like the house of Ahab, because these, now, how could you have counselors who are of themselves needing counsel? They are not even walking with God. You are supposed to be a leader for the people of God, and you're walking in the ways of Satan. And then you hire counselors who are walking doubly in the way of Satan. And I don't know what you expect. So it says that he walked in their counsel, And he also hung out with bad leaders. You know, I don't know. While I'm reading this, this sounds like so modern day, present day, what's going on in our world today. But I won't even comment on that. But anyway, let's see what else happens. Verse 6. And he returned to be healed in Jezreel because of the wounds which were given him at Ramah when he fought with Hazael, king of Syria. And Azariah the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Jehoram the son of Ahab at Jezreel. Mm. Because he was sick. And the destruction of Ahaziah was of God by coming to Joram. For when he was come, he went out with Jehoram against Jehu, the son of Nimshi, whom the Lord had anointed to cut off the house of Ahab. And it came to pass that when Jehu was executing judgment upon the house of Ahab, and found the princes of Judah and the sons of the brethren of Ahaziah that ministered to Ahaziah, he slew them. Okay, now I am confused right now as to what's going on here. And I think when I read this in Second Kings, again, I was confused because there's a lot of names. It seems like I thought those people already had died, but apparently not, because here they're still talking about Jehoram. Jehoram already died in the previous chapter. Ahaziah, his son, is who is serving. And then it says here, Azariah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Jehoram, the son of Ahab. Okay, so I think that's what got me confused the first time and this time, because the two kings have the same names. uh, Jehoram, who was the king of Judah, he was the one who died with the bowel disease. Okay, now his son Azariah is reigning, and then there is another Jehoram who is the son of Ahab, and he went down. Azariah went to see that son of Ahab, which was Jehoram. Okay, I think I finally got it. So it's the names, okay? And then we have Jehu, who was supposed to be the one to kill Jehoram or something to that extent. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to read from verse 8. And it came to pass that when Jehu was executing judgment upon the house of Ahab, and found the princes of Judah and the sons of the brethren of Ahaziah that ministered to Ahaziah, he slew them. So Jehu was foretold or prophesied to kill out the house of Ahab because Ahab's house was wicked. Okay, and there was a prophecy that Jehu would take over and he would get rid of all of those evil seeds of Ahab. And verse 9, and he sought Ahaziah, and they caught him, for he was hid in Samaria, and brought him to Jehu. And when they had slain him, they buried him, because said they, he is the son of Jehoshaphat, who sought the Lord with all his heart. So the house of Ahaziah had no power to keep still the kingdom. Okay, so while slaying Ahab's sons, Ahaziah had gone to see Ahab's son, which was Jehoram. Jehu had killed the sons of Ahab, including Jehoram. And then when Ahaziah came to visit, Jehu also slay him because he knew he was evil. And Jehu was like, let me see. He was like the eliminator. He was getting rid of all of the evil from the tribes of Israel and Judah. So Ahaziah was killed also, and he was Jehoshaphat's son. So that's why he buried him, I guess. Okay, so let's see what else happens. Verse 10. Mercy. But when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal of the house of Judah. But Jehoshabeth, the daughter of the king, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons that was slain, and put him and his nurse in a bedchamber. So Jehoshabeth, the daughter of King Jehoram, the wife of Jehoiada the priest, for she was the sister of Ahaziah, hid him from Athaliah, so that she slew him not. And he was with them hid in the house of God 6 years, and Athaliah reigned over the land. Now, this is just evil, begetting evil, begetting evil. This is what's happening here, okay? Now that Ahaziah was killed by Jehu, who was cleaning up the house of Ahab, his mother, Athaliah, so now that he is dead, she decides to make herself queen, and she goes and kills all of Ahaziah's sons except one who was hid by his nurse or his aunt. Okay? And his name was Joash. She took him and she hid him away in the temple for 6 years. So Athaliah didn't know that he was alive. And Athaliah, who was Ahaziah's mother, and Ahaziah, who was Jehoram's son. So it's like she was killing her grandchildren, really. I don't know. I tell you, I don't understand how people who are supposed to be affiliated with God can get themselves to the point of evil that they do such atrocities. And I would tell you, children live what they learn, and they learn what they live. And honestly, the seeds of Ahab and Jezebel were bad, straight off, because the two parents were wicked and they did some wicked things. And it's hard for you to grow up in an environment. And I have lived in areas where I have seen an entire family wiped out due to evil, whether it's by sickness or by violence. I have seen it happen because evil breeds more evil. It just breeds, keep on breeding, and the evil that comes out just keep on doing more and more and more evil until finally somebody has to stop it. And when God had enough of that, he already predicted to Ahab he won't have a seed left to take over anything. They will all be eradicated. And that's what was happening here also in chapter 22. When Jehu was put in charge of, I think it was Judah, he or Israel, and he got rid. He was part of the tribes, and he was supposed to get rid of the house of Ahab, which was ruling over Israel, the 10 tribes of Israel. Oh my gosh. But you know what? Judah wasn't doing too much better, because a lot of the kings after Jehoshaphat, his sons and grandsons, they were as wicked as can be. They were affiliating with Ahab's house, which was of Israel, and they were doing same wickedness in Judah. So all the tribes were just affected by the wickedness of their leaders. But God knows how to clean house. And you know what? Sometimes when God is cleaning house, it may seem really, really terrible and crude, but evil needs to be eradicated. And at the very end of the close of this world, when Jesus returns and judgment has to be put out, I'm telling you, I hear people talk all kinds of nonsense about what kind of God would burn people. You know what? I'll hold my tongue there, but I could tell you something. We know not about some of the atrocities that have taken place in this world, and people are not just going to die and that's the end of it. There is a judgment. You can like it or leave it, but it's going to take place, and every one of us is going to pass in it, good and bad, and you know which end you're going to end up in depending on how you live. So if you know you're not living right, do make a change. But if it's in your heart to continue doing evil, you know what's going to happen in the end. And don't be judging God. How could you, how could some of those people from times back have done the atrocities that they did? But you know what? Time will tell. That's our reading for today. Until next time, thank you for listening. Remember, faith comes when we hear God's word. Take care.